Hello my crispy friends. So this time we've got a Suzuki B King in for an ECU flash and a setup on the dyno. Basically the B King is just a softer, comfier but slower version of the booster really. It's quite heavily restricted inside of the ECU, but hopefully we should be able to do something about that and pick up a ton of power. So if you don't know how to do it, we use Woolich racing software and hardware to flash the ECU. And as you can see, there's quite a bit that goes into it prep wise. We need to use blanked off pin locations at the ECU plug and plug in our own Woolich racing harness, and that basically enables us to talk to the ECU, read and write our maps via a Woolich racing interface. And not only that, but we need to blank off the pair valve just to make sure we're getting accurate readings at the exhaust sniffer for the dyno and O2 sensors. And then it's on to the base run. So we're just checking the motor's happy really at first. No coolant leaks, oil leaks, or make sure it's not burning oil or making any strings noises or anything like that. And then it's just the base run just to give us an idea of power output as a baseline, and what the air fuel ratio is doing. If it's massively out of whack, then we probably won't carry on with the base runs, maybe do some adjustment first. But yeah, we'll do the base run to get an idea of what it is, what it's putting out, brake horsepower and torque as it came into us. So we've got something to compare it to when we've done all of our work. And you can see on this power run how the bike is restricted. If you just look at my right wrist, and you can see that the throttle's all the way open, and as it approaches the higher RPMs and the red line, you can see the bike just sort of shut down its power. So that's a speed limit restriction, as well as a restriction in the secondary throttle plates. So yeah, we can get rid of all that, remove all that stuff, but it's sort of fairly healthy really. Considering even as it is, it's putting out 150 something I think there, and the air fuel ratio is not too bad, a bit rich, but better that than too lean. The next thing we do is load in a base map to the ECU, and for the most part that's done away from the bike, not on the dyno necessarily, just going through the various maps. Any obvious restrictions we're removing them. Anything to do with emissions that we don't need, we're getting rid of that. There's lots of features, but they do vary from bike to bike, and the restrictions vary from bike to bike as well. So on some models it's absolutely worth it in terms of power. You'd always improve the throttle response and smooth everything out, make a nicer bike to ride really. And then once the base flash has been loaded in, it's then onto the dyno to see how that works, and then it's setting up the fuel maps, and that can take a long time. So there's 2 sets of fuel maps, and also the ignition timing, which can take a long old time. So yeah, I wouldn't bore you with that in the video. Well, that's me pretty much done now. I've been at it all day really. I finished doing the final power run at about 20 to 4, but I've been playing around with ignition timing and some steady state stuff and low throttle positions, trying to smooth everything out. But yeah, just in terms of what we managed to gain with it, so we went from 158.29 to 178 brake at the wheel. The air fuel ratio now is more or less perfect really. It's flat 13 right across, whereas before the red line it was a bit of a roller coaster really. It wasn't horrendous, a little bit rich, and down here at, what was that, 4,000 RPM. And in terms of speed on the dyno, at least before, it was rolling out at 100 and, hang on a minute, speed, 144.8 mile an hour, and now on the dyno it's 192.4. So it's well worth doing. Well, that's about it. Gives you an idea of what can be achieved with the B King. Quite impressive gains, really, considering it's just a naturally aspirated engine, no other modifications or anything like that. As I was saying, all models do vary. Some you'll be able to extract quite a bit of power out from an ECU flash and setup, others not quite so much, but either way you'll always have a much smoother, better responsive motorcycle after an ECU flash and dyno setup. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks very much.